and welcome to the Daily News. I am your host, Abel Cloyak, and today we're going to be interviewing James Monroe, who was the 5th President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson's Secretary of State, and one of the few authors of the United States Constitution. So, President Monroe, tell us about the era of good feeling. The era of good feeling began after the War of 1812. And Americans had the desire to explore new places and cultures within the world, but still remaining unity within the United States. And my election caused lots of passion and desire to stay in America, and led to lots of festivals and free markets to be established for everyone. And the economy slowly improved and became financially stable. And during this era, foreign investment was pushed out, and there are lots of changes between the relationships between the United States and Europe. And I also established the Second Federal Bank during this time period, and the military defense began to improve, and nationalism emerged within the nation. And although this era brought many positive aspects to the United States, it also caused a lot of problems, such as the controversy of slavery and political distribution problems. Can you also tell us about the Tallmadge Amendment and the Missouri Compromise? In the Tallmadge Amendment, slavery became emancipated in Missouri. Therefore, children that were born into slavery or had parents who were slaves became immediately emancipated from being slaves for the rest of their lives and became free citizens. And this caused lots of controversy between the North and the South about whether or not slavery should exist anymore. However, the South continued to have slavery, making them a more agricultural-based economy, while the North abolished slavery, and this caused them to become more settled and wealthy. And although Missouri was technically a part of the North, they were established as a slave state due to the Missouri Compromise that lasted 34 years. And this caused a very large issue in Missouri because slavery was still existing and homeowners could control and own slaves for their homes. And this continued to cause lots of problems within the United States and eventually led to the Civil War and other slavery-related issues in the history of the United States. Can you tell us about the Monroe Doctrine? In 1823, I established a doctrine that created policies against foreign investment in the United States. I wanted the United States citizens to produce their own goods and services and be able to establish trade markets and improve the economy of the United States. And this created a lot of trade restrictions and communication restrictions between the United States and European countries, and I felt that Europe could have been an extreme threat to the United States, making the United States produce goods for the Europeans. Therefore, I created this doctrine and these policies to help create nationalism and mercantilism within the United States. In addition, can you tell us about the Industrial and Transportation Revolution? Both the Industrial and Transportation Revolutions helped increase urbanization within the United States. People began to live more towards the urban centers, and machineries and assembly lines and factory work became a prominent way of making jobs and money for the economy and the lifestyle in the United States. And improvements in transportation forms such as railroads and steam cars improved. And therefore this helped the transportation of goods and services to different parts of the United States. So parts of the United States were getting goods and services from other parts at a faster rate. Therefore our economy became better and our standard of living became better because people had the availability to resources that they didn't have before. And these revolutions also occurred in the early part of the 19th century. And although these revolutions increased the number of people living and working in the cities, there still became a high demand for agriculture. So although there was a high population within urban centers, there was also a supporting amount of people in rural areas on farms and creating agriculture for our economy. Finally, can you tell us about Clay's American System? In the early 19th century, the Clay's American System was established, and the purpose of this organization was to help balance the agriculture and urban fields within the United States. And I believed that there was a high demand for better financial representation in the government, so we allowed the balance between these sectors to exist so people could have jobs and support themselves and give themselves a better education so they could go out and help be involved in the government, and the overall status of the United States could improve. And I created several tariffs and taxes on goods and services to help improve and provide support for the other states. We hope you guys enjoyed today's daily news and interviews with James Monroe, and please tune in tomorrow. I'm Ava Moncloak, your host.